Welcome to the African World Channel. Today, we're diving into a shocking revelation from Mali's transitional president, Assimi Goïta. He has accused France of attempting to destabilize Mali's economy by flooding it with counterfeit CFA Franc notes. In this video, we'll explore the potential impact of counterfeit money on a nation's economy, the call for a new local currency, and the broader implications for economic sovereignty in Africa. Stay tuned as we unpack these critical issues and their significance for Mali and beyond. Mali's transitional president, Assimi Goïta, accused France of a covert operation aimed at destabilizing the nation's economy. Goïta alleged that France has been injecting counterfeit CFA Franc notes into Mali's financial system, a move he described as economic sabotage. In a decisive response, he called for the creation of a new, locally produced currency to protect Mali's economic sovereignty. This bold accusation and proposal highlight the ongoing struggle for economic independence in former French colonies and underscore the broader implications of economic warfare on national stability. Before we dive back into the video, remember to subscribe to our channel, give the video a thumbs up, and share it with others to help us reach a wider audience. Now let's get back to the video. Mali's transitional president, Assimi Goïta, has made a serious accusation against France, claiming they are attempting to undermine his country's administration by flooding the economy with counterfeit CFA Franc notes. In a bold move to protect Mali's financial stability, he has called for the adoption of a new, locally produced currency. During a speech in the Malian city of Sikasso on June 22, President Goïta voiced his suspicions about French interference. He claimed that France's tactic of using fake currency to destabilize economies was not new, pointing to a similar strategy allegedly employed against Guinea in 1960. This accusation underscores a long-standing tension between Mali and its former colonial power. Assimi Goïta is correct. Many people are unaware of how France attempted to undermine Guinea's economy using counterfeit money. Imagine gaining your freedom only to find that your former ruler is out to sabotage you. This is the incredible story of how France allegedly tried to wreck Guinea's economy with counterfeit money after the West African country declared its independence. In 1958, Guinea made a bold move. While other French colonies chose to remain under French influence, Guinea voted for complete independence. This decision was led by Ahmed Sékou Touré, who famously declared, "We prefer poverty and freedom to riches and slavery." France was not happy. Overnight, they withdrew all their support. French officials packed up and left, taking everything from office supplies to critical economic plans. This sudden exit left Guinea in chaos. According to some accounts, they took it a step further by flooding Guinea with counterfeit Guinean francs. This fake money created economic chaos, causing hyperinflation and making the local currency worthless. People didn't know what money to trust, and the economy started to collapse. On top of that, France led a diplomatic and economic blockade against Guinea. They pressured other countries to cut ties with Guinea, leaving the new nation isolated and struggling for international support. Despite these challenges, President Sékou Touré and Guinea fought back. They nationalized industries and turned to the Soviet Union and other Eastern Bloc countries for support. Guinea adopted socialist policies and began to rebuild its economy, though the road was long and difficult. How counterfeit money destroys a nation's economy. Counterfeit currency can have devastating effects on a nation's economy. When fake money enters the financial system, it increases the money supply without a corresponding increase in goods and services. This can lead to inflation, where prices rise because the value of money decreases. For everyday citizens, this means their savings and incomes by less than they did before, eroding purchasing power and leading to economic instability. The presence of counterfeit money can undermine confidence in the national currency. If people and businesses start to doubt the legitimacy of their money, they may turn to more stable foreign currencies or even barter systems, further weakening the economy. For Mali, which already faces numerous challenges, including security threats and political instability, the impact of counterfeit currency could be particularly severe. Goïta identified this alleged scheme as part of what he calls the three types of terrorism facing Mali: armed terrorism, media terrorism, spreading lies and fake news to sow discord, and economic terrorism. He highlighted the significant economic strain Mali experienced after ECOWAS imposed sanctions in 2022, forcing the country to rely heavily on Guinea for commerce. This reliance resulted in Malian traders facing triple the usual port costs, exacerbating the economic hardship. To combat this economic threat, Goïta proposed abandoning the CFA Franc, which he described as a colonial currency, and replacing it with a new local currency. The CFA Franc has long been criticized for its ties to France and perceived as a tool of economic control over former French colonies. The CFA Franc was created in 1945 and stands for Colonies Françaises d'Afrique, French colonies of Africa. After the countries gained independence, the acronym was redefined as Communauté Financière Africaine, African Financial Community, for the West African states, and Coopération Financière en Afrique Centrale, Financial Cooperation in Central Africa, for the Central African states. The CFA franc is pegged to the euro, formerly the French franc, at a fixed exchange rate. This peg is guaranteed by the French Treasury, which requires member states to keep a significant portion of their foreign reserves in the French Treasury. Earlier this month, Ahmed Tahir Bakit, head of the Russian House in Chad, echoed similar sentiments at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum 2024. He criticized the CFA franc, imposed by another power, for stifling Africa's prosperity. Bakit's remarks highlight a growing consensus among African leaders that a move towards locally controlled currencies could foster greater economic independence and resilience. The allegations made by President Goïta shed light on the broader issue of economic sovereignty in Africa. Counterfeit currency not only destabilizes economies but also undermines national confidence and sovereignty. By advocating for a locally produced currency, Mali is taking a significant step towards reclaiming economic control and fostering long-term stability. The call to move away from the CFA franc resonates with a larger movement across the continent to break free from the remnants of colonial economic structures and build a more self-sufficient future. We value your input. What are your thoughts on Assimi Goïta's accusations against France regarding counterfeit currency? Do you believe counterfeit currency poses a significant threat to national economies, as suggested in the video? Why or why not? Please share your opinions in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with others. Thank you for watching.